Identifying trends in the market can be really difficult if you're new to trading or somebody that doesn't quite understand exactly what they're looking for. So in this video, guys, I'm going to be giving you guys the best golden tips to understand how to identify any trend in the market, as well as even spot the reversal on these trends, guys. It's super important to spot the reversal. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. This is Product J from Learn Option Trades. I'm a mentor there, and I teach beginners how to go from zero to hero. And what I mean by that is how to go from not knowing what you're even doing to being a consistent, profitable, successful trader in the market that's consistently fixing their mistakes if they are making any, which you're going to, and learning how you can learn from it to profit on the next one. So, guys, I'm going to be dropping you guys some gems that I wish I would have known when I first started trading. And honestly, I heard a lot about these stuff when I first started trading, but I didn't pay attention to it as much as I do now, which, guys, it's super important, guys. This is something that I wish I first started paying attention to my first month of trading, because I've heard about trends. We all heard of trends. We all think we can create one, and it's really easy and simple. But guys, I'm gonna give you guys the golden tip to understanding how to identify any trend, even the reversal that's about to happen, even when most people kind of don't even know that's about to happen. So let's get right into it, guys. So the key tips that I'm gonna drop to you guys that I want you guys to pay attention to, that you might not even grasp this first time watching. You might have to watch it a second time to even grasp what I'm trying to tell you guys. So the key tip is this: higher highs and higher lows is what you're looking for an uptrend. So when you have higher highs and higher lows, that's what creates the uptrend. Reason being, I mean, come on, it's real simple. If you're creating higher highs, I mean, you're uptrending. And what I mean by that is, if this high is higher than the most recent high, then that's a higher high. And then if the next high is more higher than the most recent high, that's a higher high. So you're just creating higher highs, and that's an uptrend. If you have higher lows in the same concept, you're creating an uptrend, because if the low is higher than the most recent low, then it's a higher low. You're creating an uptrend. So guys, that's how to spot an uptrend, and keep that in mind. Do not just pass this up, what I'm telling you right now. This is important. Higher highs and higher lows is how you create the uptrend. It's how you identify the uptrend. So how do you identify the downtrend, and how do you spot the reversal coming? So before we really dive into it, I really want to mention before I really dive into it is, guys, this is going to be a jam-packed video, but I am going to show you in a nutshell real quick kind of what it is, and then we're going to go into it deep. So we just identified the uptrend, but here's how to identify the downtrend and the potential reversal. So now we have our higher highs and higher lows. But look at this. We no longer create that next higher high. It's a lower high now. So now we got lower highs and lower lows coming. What does that mean? That equals a downtrend. So when you're no longer creating the higher highs and you create a lower high, or you're no longer creating higher lows and now you're creating a lower low, that is something to really pay attention to, because that's something that's going to... Actually, I just realized I have a mistake right here. I have lower highs and lower lows. This should be lower lows and lower lows. Or, yeah, no, it is correct. Sorry. I had a brain fart right there. I got a little panic because I was just editing these before I started. So yeah, that's how you identify the downtrend. So when you got your higher highs coming, which is higher highs and higher lows, that's the uptrend. When you got your lower highs and lower lows coming, that's the downtrend. So keep that in mind, guys, throughout this whole video. I'm going to keep this key tab right here for reference for you to always look at, just in case. So let's go right to this chart and let's identify the downtrend. So we're going to go over many examples, but this one I already have pre-charted kind of with the trend lines, just to show you guys a quick example on what you're kind of going to expect in this video. So the starting point of the high is the highest point, the most recent high. So in this example, we're practically only going to look at the downtrend for right now. So we're going to look at lower highs and lower lows. So we got our starting point, which is this high right here. And then the next high is not even a high. It's a lower high. So we got our lower highs forming, creating that downtrend, as well as we got some lower lows forming. You know, you got your low right here. You got your low right here. I mean, we're just continuing lower lows, which is really important, guys, to understand. So that's the downtrend. And you might think it's real that simple, but how do you identify the breakout point, or when it's no longer going to continue this trend? So after you can see, I mean, we get a hard candle close above the trend creating a breakout indication. So not only do we get a breakout indication, but now we're even surpassing the most recent high, creating higher highs now. So now we're reversing on the trend, and now we're no longer downtrending. Now we're uptrending, but in this example, I don't have any uptrends drawn out. We're just creating some new higher highs, and then you can see at this moment right here, we start no longer creating higher highs. Now we're creating lower highs on the next trend, which is how I identify this trend. It's how I identify that we're downtrending. So as soon as I see these two as soon as I see this right here, I create the trend. And you can see that over time it gets respected and it eventually breaks out and no longer respects this trend, and then we start creating a new trend. So guys, it's really important to understand the lower highs and the lower low concept to understand how to identify any trend, to be honest. So we're going to get right into it on some other examples. And the next example is the S&P 500s. So this is the weekly time frame. We're looking at the on the macro, the weekly time frame. Like I said, I'm gonna show you on any time frame. We're even gonna look at the 5-minute ones, but look at this macro time frame. Remember your key tips. You got your lower highs and lower lows forming. That's indicating a downtrend. How do you spot that, and where would you draw this? So we're actually gonna zoom in on this, and I got my little magnifying glass. We're gonna zoom in on this right here to show you guys a quick little tutorial on how I would do this and how I would create this. This is something I actually spotted with my team, and something that we actually traded. What the heck is this shit zooming in like this? That's a little weird. Let me just pause it. So like I said, I'm gonna show you guys how I would draw this out, and also, like I said, me and my team, we saw this happen. We saw the break of this, and it continued on up. So we were able to identify the break of this trend, and it was pretty nice. So anyways, guys, let's get right into it, and I'm gonna show you guys how you guys would draw this out on your chart if you were looking at this you guys yourself. So guys, don't forget the key tips. We got our lower highs forming in, and we got 3-4 of them already formed up. So the way that I would draw my trend is I would grab my geometry trend line indicator. I call it geometry trend line indicator because it's just funny when we draw lines on a chart. But so you'd grab that trend line tool, start from your highest point or whatever point you really want to start at, which in my experience, from what I like to do, is just grab it from the highest point or the one that makes most sense. In this case, the highest point made sense, so I grabbed the highest point, connected it to this wick, connected it to that wick. And what I mean by that is all I'm doing is just starting my trend line, and we're going to do this in the next few slides too. I'm going to show you how to just chart it down and what I mean by this. So I would grab the trend and start it from right there and connect all of them like that. So that's how you draw your trend, and you can see that it connects well. So you got that lower high, and all 4 lower highs are hitting the trend real nice until we finally get a breakout. And this is what I was talking about, how me and my team, we actually was able to identify the breakout, and that's something that we're still actually above right now. So I'm curious if we're just going to retest it and continue on up, which would be pretty cool. So guys, that's how you guys identify and how to draw the trend line fresh from a SPY chart on a weekly. We're going to go through other examples too. But the key tips, guys, don't forget, lower highs, lower lows equals your downtrend. And in this example, we're just looking at the macro time frame, meaning higher time frame. And guys, don't forget the keys. Lower highs, lower lows equals downtrend. So let's go over how to identify any trend in any chart live raw. And before we even do that, guys, I really want to make sure you guys understand what I mean by higher highs and higher lows, which creates the uptrend. So we're going to get into that first right now before we even move on to looking at a live chart. So what do I mean by, not what do I mean, we've been talking about this for so long. So when you have higher highs and higher lows, that's how you identify your uptrend. So I drew this quick little line chart, and you can see that this is the point of a high right here. So we got our high right here, so we got our high, and then we got a low. We got a high, we got a low. Higher high, because it's higher than the most recent high. So we got a higher high, and then we got another low, but it's even higher than the most recent low. So it's a higher low, and then we got our higher high. So guys, That is the uptrend. That is how you identify the uptrend. But this is how you identify the uptrend. But this is where it gets real interesting. This is where I try to tell my friends to and everybody that I know, guys, this is how you can identify the potential reversal. And I wouldn't even say potential. Like 9 times out of 10, it reverses when you identify this little trick right here, which is what I'm about to drop the gem on you guys. This is about to be the gem. And I know it's really not that serious, but guys, when you guys really pay attention to this in the market, it's super serious. So we just created our uptrend, higher highs, higher lows. But this is where it gets interesting. This is how you identify the potential reversal. So not only do we have our higher highs and higher low setting, but now we break that trend, indicating that, okay, we're no longer respecting that trend, we're breaking it. But not only that though. Not only do we break that trend, but we're deciding to create a lower low and we're deciding to create a lower high. So we got our highest point, which was that highest point we ever hit. And then that's the lowest point, I guess you could say we was. But now we got our lower high and we got our lower low coming in. So that's how you identify the potential. So at that point, my eyes are gleamed to the screen. I'm like, something's about to go on right here. Are we going to continue? Are we going to stop this downtrend? Which at this point, we already kind of broke it. We already broke it, and we're already indicating that we're now going to start downtrending. So now we got our lower highs coming in, and a new trend is forming. So we got our lower highs, and the next lower high, as well as a lower low, and another lower low. So guys, that's how you identify the downtrend. And that's also how you identify the downtrend happening before, midway while it's happening. Let's run that back real quick, and we're actually going to go over this in some live charts too, so it's going to be really nice. So we got our higher highs and higher lows, and then we get a lower high and a lower low break. Like, let's say none of this was even here yet, just the lower high. At that point, I'm connecting the trend already. I'm already drawing my line, and I'm like, okay, we're already creating lower highs. Same thing with this. If the moment I see we're creating some lower lows, I'm drawing my trend, and I'm like, okay, we're creating some lower lows. On top of all of that, guys, there's even a big candlestick pattern in here, as well as there's even another time where we create a big candlestick pattern just like that, and we create a break to the downside. Look at this. Let me go back to it. So let's call it head and shoulders, but look at this head and shoulders. Got our head, 2 shoulders, and then boom. So that's pretty cool how you can use all the tools in your favor to identify certain stuff. And sorry about that. I know I just went off track, but really wanted to show you guys that. So we already went over how to identify the new trend and how to also identify the potential reversal, which, guys, it's probably the most important thing you could ever pay attention to. It's something that I wish I would have paid attention to when I was trading, which is just simply paying attention to the higher highs and higher lows, lower highs and lower lows. So let's move on with all this, and let's get live into a live chart seeing what's good. So we already just talked about the downtrend and how to identify the potential reversal after we already had our nice uptrend. So look at this, guys. This is Apple. This is Apple on the 1 hour time frame. Now, honestly, when you look at it like this, you might not really see much, but from my eyes and from my experience, man, there's so many trends to identify. There's so many lower highs getting broken into some higher highs, and then so many lower lows getting broken into some higher lows. Like, there's just so many trends being formed. When you first look at it like this, it kind of just looks like, but guys, there is so much to see. There is so much to trade. And this is not even including your support and resistance lines. This isn't even including your zones. This isn't even including your trade plans, your levels where you would take calls and puts at. I mean, this is just one tool to add to your trading that's going to amp it up like crazy. So let's get into it. How do you identify this trend? And not identify this trend. Let's go look live at Apple, and let's just talk about some lower lows and some higher highs and a lot of trends. Let's just go look at some trends. All right, so this is where honestly the real fun education really gets important, and honestly this is something to really pay attention to This is really important, guys. So we're looking at Apple on the 1 hour time frame, and I'm gonna show you guys why it's important to pay attention to the creation of higher lows or even lower highs, or higher highs, higher lows, or just identifying trends in general. You can see that there's a lot of trends in this that you can identify off of just going what we talked about. But let's go start with this one right here for right now. So honestly, before we even start drawing some big trends, and what I mean by that is before we even start drawing some big stuff like this, I want to go over again the key points. The key points is something to never forget, because guys, you might have to watch this video 1-2 times because what I'm saying is super important. It sounds like it's gibberish, but look at this. When you grab the most highest point and you connect it with the next lower high, guys, trust me, that's how you can trade a simple break of it. A simple break. I mean, look at this. This is a simple break on that trend. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Let's stick with what I'm trying to teach you guys. So, look at this. We got a lower highs forming. I mean, honestly, you could even create it right here too. I mean, look at this. I really want to just show you guys the importance of paying attention to lower highs. Lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. And look at this. It's starting to almost curl up. Lower high, and look at this. Break. Now we're going up, 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 up. And then essentially we stop creating that. I mean, you can even see down here, lower lows, lower lows, lower lows, lower lows. Let me actually draw this one to give you guys a nice visual representation. Lower lows, lower lows. But then we start to break that trend. Now we're creating higher highs, and that's how we kind of get this little bit of a. But the reason why I'm saying to pay attention to this, guys, is because, guys, this is how you guys can follow the stock movement. To be honest, in my opinion. So not only do you have this big downtrend that you can create off of this simple recent high, but if you connect every single, and I'm not saying to actually draw like this. Don't do this. Don't draw each wick and create this. It's gonna help, but just visually, mentally do it in your head. So when you have these lower highs, it's just remember in your head, we're downtrending. Don't take calls yet until we get a break of some new highs. That's where I would actually pay attention to maybe taking calls, because we're starting to uptrend in this moment. See, look at this, guys. Look how interdimensional trading can be, honestly. So not only do we have our downtrend on this big simple trend that we just drew, but if we were to pay attention to each, and I mean each candle that's forming, you can see the quick trends. Well, you can see the quick trends that are transitioning quicker than the big one. You can even see right before that. I mean, look at this. Higher highs, higher highs, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, all the way until, let's zoom in on this so we can make it look a little better. So this is something really important, and I'm going to kind of go over this a lot. But higher lows, higher low, higher low. Guys, this is important. Pay attention to this. What's about to happen here? Higher lows. I mean, if I really wanted to, I can even, just show you guys. Look at higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. I mean, but look at this. Look at this. The moment we stop creating the higher low, you start to see something. You start and guys, look, this is the cool part. Not only are we creating higher highs, and we still are practically almost creating higher highs. The first moment we create this lower low, that's where you can spot the indication. And guys, this is so important. Like, I just rewind these last 5-10 seconds. The moment we stop creating the higher lows, and the exact moment we start creating that different trend is where my eyes start to gleam on the screen, and they get big, because I'm noticing there's something that's about to happen next. Look at this. The most recent high, almost a double top, practically a double top. And what that means is we just reach the most recent high, and then we don't break it. So kind of a double top, but more importantly, a lower high. and a lower low forming. So now you got your potential downtrend coming. Like at that moment, if you were just right here at open market, you're like, we got that lower low, we got that lower high, we're not going to go up anymore. Let's say you were that confident in your trade, and then you start to notice that we got this lower low right here, and honestly, at that moment, whether you were confident to take puts or you just wanted to identify a trend, you can see that, yeah, we broke that trend, that uptrend, and now we're really going back to start downtrending. And look at this, guys, same thing. It's super important. I don't recommend you to draw on every single lower low. If you need to, if it needs to help you, I mean, if it helps you, do it. But if not, don't. Just mentally have it in your head. So look at this. Got a lower low, and then the moment we don't continue on and we start creating higher lows, I mean, guys, that is the potential reversal. And I seriously mean that, because look at this. We got our lower highs, lower high right here. Same thing, lower highs right here. But look at this. Look at this. The moment we start doing something different and creating a little bit of a higher high and higher low, look at the transition, guys. It's so important to understand the transition that happens between these trends, guys. It's probably the very end of this video was probably the most important thing to really pay attention to, but the build up to it is what I really hope helped you guys. But look at this. Same thing. I mean, let's just follow this trend. Higher highs, higher highs, higher highs, all the way through. Higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, all the way through. But then the moment we start kind of creating something different is when you notice the trend changes. Now, this one was a quick trend, but honestly, if you knew more education other than just patterns, other than just trends, you would see that this is a pattern that got formed, and we broke out of it, which is really nice. Look at this. We had a nice break to it. Same thing. Lower lows, lower lows, lower lows. But on this one, we're creating a little bit of higher highs. I mean, there's just a trend trying to fight here. Look at this. It's probably really important to pay attention to this one too. Because look at this. Now we got some higher highs, but now we got lower high trying to form. Lower lows trying to form. But then, look at this. Higher low. So now we got a higher low. Now we're no longer creating that lower low. Now we got a higher low. Now this is like literally, let me honestly draw something. I don't know why it's not working now. Oh, that's my thing. Right here. Dang it. Well, in this area is the moment that I noticed that, okay, we're creating higher lows now. We're not creating lower lows. So at that moment, I'm like, are we going to break the trend? Which we do. We can see that if we were to create that, we break some higher highs. And guys, like I'm just following trend. That's all I'm doing. Look at this. Higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. Oop, what's going on here? So look at this. It doesn't matter how you want to look at it. It does matter, but look at how interdimensional this is. So we got our higher low right here, or you can even connect right here and be like, we got our lower low right here. Or you can even start it right here and be like, oh, we got lower lows. So it's super interdimensional, or like there's so many different ways to look at it. And that's why I say, guys, it's so important to pay attention to what I'm saying right now, which is the lower lows. When you finally get a break of lower lows, or the moment you start creating higher lows, like this indication right here, that's the indication. Look, this is so interdimensional, but guys, look at this. Boom, boom, boom. Even if you didn't care about the break, let's say you didn't care about it breaking this, but let's say you notice that we are creating higher highs. That's just a new uptrend. Higher lows, same thing. Look at this. I know I'm just going on at this point, but it's really to give you guys perspective on what's going on. So, I really want you guys to, I really hope this helps. I kind of did expect to go over a little bit of a lower time frame, but honestly here, we'll just go over the lower time frame. I really feel like that covers everything to know about trends. On Apple, I did trade, where is it at? Let's see. On Apple, there was a trend that I did trade. I think I might have deleted it only because it's already gone now, or like I traded it and then I just deleted it so I don't have it on my thing all cluttered up. But Apple did break a pretty serious downtrend, and it was on Friday. Friday was probably the most easiest day for every trader, because everything got broken. But I mean, yeah, we essentially stopped creating lower highs, and we just majorly broke. I mean, we just majorly broke a nice zone, and creating some higher highs. I mean, this gave me all confidence on Apple to go long. So I really just want you guys to pay attention to all the lower lows, lower highs, higher lows formations, because that's how you guys can add trend lines to what you already have going on. So if you have your trend line set and you also have your support and resistance set or your zone set, then guys, like, you're gonna be good. So anyways, guys, I hope that helped. Long video, but it was really informational, and it's probably one of the most important videos you can watch to up your game in trading. And don't ever forget those key tips, guys. Higher lows, higher highs, lows, lower highs. Most important thing you can pay attention to identify any trend, and the potential reversal of the trend happening. So anyways, guys, thank you guys for tuning in, and hope to see you guys on my next video.